Hello again and welcome to Last Time Studios. Hope you're all well. Today we're looking at two different sterling silver rings. Both are rose rings and they come from the Great Frog and Clocks and Colours. Now let's have a look firstly at the Clocks and Colours rose ring. It's called the All Apologies ring. The All Apologies ring is listed as €120 when converting to pounds. I think it's fairly similar at the moment, so you're probably looking at a very similar cost in pounds. Clocks and Colours quite often have discount codes and sales. I think you always get a 10% discount when you first sign up, and then they have regular sales on. So in terms of the cost of this ring, I would say it's well worth its workmanship. It's a relatively thin band and it depicts a singular rose at the front of the ring, and with what appears to be some leaves, thorns and thistles to the side parts of the ring. The hallmark stamp is to the rear of the ring, and the Clocks and Colours logo is stamped directly behind the rose in the internal of the ring. The craftsmanship on this ring is very, very good. In terms of the band, it's quite thin at the rear of the band, especially when you're looking at bigger sizes, but I don't think that detracts from the ring in any way, shape or form. I think it's quite beautiful. It's patinaed and detailed in such a way where it's impressive to wear on any occasion really, a special occasion or everyday use. It's been worn quite a bit, this ring, so the durability is definitely there. Now let's move on to the Great Frog ring. The Great Frog lists this simply as rose ring and it's listed for £210, so there is quite a discrepancy in the cost. However, if you're familiar with the Great Frog, they've been going for a long time. They supply a lot of rock stars and they're well known in the jewellery making world for making beautiful handcrafted rings. I would point out that this ring shown here has been used for many years. It has been available to buy from the Great Frog for many years. So in turn you will notice that there is some wear to the rear of the band. Essentially this is because it's worn on an everyday use and not just for special occasions. Sterling silver after some time will get abrasions, but I think it only adds to the look of the ring. So the ring itself is quite substantially bigger in terms of the weight. The band itself is wider and heavier. The flower, the rose on the front, looks more of a tattoo type of rose to me than a realistic rose. So there is a great differentiation in design there, but both are beautiful regardless. The sides of the ring are displayed with leaves, and again it has a very beautiful patina to the ring. If you were to buy this ring from new, you'd notice it would be a lot brighter, but I'll talk about that later and how to take care of your jewellery as best possible. The sizes of these rings will also determine the thickness of the band because of the way they're made. The Great Frog ring is quite thick towards the rear band because of its design, but also because of the small size of the ring, as it will fit my small finger. The Clocks and Colours ring is wider and therefore the band is somewhat thinner, but generally from what I understand the band on the Clocks and Colours ring is thinner in any case, to quite a degree. It's also the case that these rings both beautifully complement each other. You could definitely wear them together. The contrasting styles, absolutely awesome. So if you have the chance, I'd recommend that. Now going back to the Clocks and Colours ring, I have had a look at some of the reviews on the Clocks and Colours website, and as usual they're all very positive, and in honesty I have no qualms about any of the build qualities. I do have a few Clocks and Colours pieces. The build quality is always excellent. I think if you were to purchase this ring, you would definitely have this ring for a long time. However, is it handmade compared to the Great Frog? I'm not entirely sure. Returning to the Great Frog rose ring, although it is a very wide band, it's a very comfortable fit. Just as comfortable as the thinner band from Clocks and Colours. Great piece, but I would recommend that if you do look at buying the rose ring from the Great Frog, that you possibly look to get a slight size up. Great thing with the Great Frog is they do smaller increments in size, so you can really push down and get exactly which size you want. You can get standard bands from eBay which will tell you the size that you need to be. You can usually get them very cheap for a few pounds, or the Great Frog actually sell them themselves, so you can be assured that it's going to be the right fit if you order it online. Back in the day I actually went to the Great Frog in London, one of the stores there, and had a great experience. I actually bought a ring in store which I still have to this day, and if you ever have the opportunity to pop in, please do so. They've always got some great pieces in there, and maybe, just maybe, if you're very lucky, they might offer you a bit of a discount while you're in there, especially with certain pieces which have just been one-offs or that they're holding as stock in this store. When it comes to Clocks and Colours, of course, they have no stores. Clocks and Colours sent me a sizing band out free of charge, which was great, and I've used it on a few occasions to go back to them Clocks and Colours unfortunately do not have the smaller increments, but you should still be able to get something that fits you. Both companies have the service where you can return the ring and you can have it resized or have a replacement ring put out to you for the correct size. So in terms of reviews, ratings, how would I rate both of these rings? How would I compare both of these rings? They're both very similar, but they're both very different in, I think, the way they're made as well. It looks like Clocks and Colours have some sort of manufacturing process, whereas I believe Great Frog make everything from hand, from start to finish. However, that doesn't detract from either designs. I think they're both great. I think they're both well worth the money, and I think buying either or both pieces, you'd enjoy them both equally. Would I give them a score out of 10? No. I don't like scoring things on that basis. I think from the video you can judge and decide which one you prefer, or maybe you'd like to buy both. I mean, obviously seeing them up close is still different to seeing them on video, but I think this gives a reasonable representation of what you should expect. And finally, just a note about taking care of your jewellery. What I would suggest with sterling silver, because of the ferrous metal that's in there, sterling silver does have some other metals included to keep it hardened as much as possible. 925 out of 1,000 is parts silver, and then the other is usually copper or some other type of ferrous metal. Seeing that, you can still damage the rings, so be careful with them, especially to the rear. If you're working, take them off. In terms of keeping them nice, keeping them sharp, keeping them clear and shiny, what I'd suggest you do is use a jeweller's cloth. You can get them from Argos. I've popped it on screen here, the make of the cloths that I use. They're dead easy to use. You can get other cleaning compounds, but these cloths already have a compound within them. So it's simply take it out of the box, rub it on the ring, job's a good one. So that's it. Both fantastic pieces of jewellery. I would recommend both any day of the week. I'm not sponsored at all for any of these videos. I'm just a big fan. So thanks again, and I hope to see you soon.